I think the biggest challenge that we faced with this new film, which was basically a remake of the 2001 film, except it had a lot more twists and turns in it, was finding a cast who'd be willing to sacrifice the time and step up to the plate and redo a film that we had done 2 years prior, but also add some new flavor to it, a new storyline, a new set of problems, new situations to deal with.
Going in, I really didn't know that we could do better than we did in 2001. I honestly felt like that was about as good as it was going to get at a high school level, but just the commitment that these kids had, the hard work that they put in, and really working on their acting skills made it even more believable. We put in a lot more realistic situations, field parties and things like that, and I believe with that, the end result was that we made a better film, and that it's going to make a bigger impact even than the first film.
I was this jerk that liked to party and have fun, and I like to drag other people to have fun.
I was the good girl. I was the innocent, try to get everybody to go the right way and do the right things, try to convince everyone that drinking and driving is not the way to go.
I'm the girlfriend who doesn't want her boyfriend getting mixed up in the wrong crowd.
I was going to play the person who was kind of having mixed feelings about drinking and wanting to be good, but kind of peer pressured into doing the wrong thing.
I was the concerned mother. Dad's being too hard on the son, you know, because the mom's always wanting to protect the son. I mean, in real life I am. I'm always thinking my sweet son never gets in any kind of trouble. And yeah, and in real life, that's kind of the role I do play, is when he gets mad at him, I'm like, oh, you know, he'll get over it. Just let him cool off.
I had to appear as if I was one of the cool guys who drank because drinking was cool and whatnot, and then on Camille's side was just, I'm good, I don't do that thing, I'm your boyfriend, don't worry.
Matt was a person that didn't know whether he was going to drink or go with his girlfriend Camille, and basically to have fun you got to come with me to drink, and if you're with Camille you're not going to have fun.
Kevin's intentions were to just kind of make me follow him. He was the ringleader, and he was peer pressuring me along with everybody else into drinking. And Holly was also on the bad side, trying to pull me away from Camille and just kind of get me to do the wrong thing as well.
Holly is like sweet as can be in real life. Like, it was so hard doing those scenes with her, like, 'cause like nobody ever fights with her. I've never heard of anybody like getting in an argument with her. And like after every scene, like whenever I pushed her at the field party, we would hug each other real quick, and it's just not Holly, so it's weird to do those kind of scenes, but it's still fun.
Well, it was a normal year at Red Oak, and it's during prom, and me and Lacey and Jessica and Robert were all had it kids and hanging up posters to warn people and make people informed about drinking and driving, and Kevin didn't go with us, and he tried to ruin a bunch of our plans, knocking down our posters.
Everything from the beginning to the end, I mean, there was a story behind all of it, and each part working your way up. The scene when they were in high school and Kevin goes busting through this little poster, and Robert fit his part well. No, what happened to I'm serious, what happened to the poster? So I mean, that was pretty cool. But the whole thing, I mean, I was really amazed on how well they acted. And the thing, like I said, just the little details where their eyes don't blink, it was all just perfect.
I think as far as from a viewer standpoint, they're able to watch this and really understand and invest more time in the characters. You get really close to Camille and the situation she's dealing with. You get really close to the problems that Matt's dealing with wanting to be part of the group with Kevin and his friends. You understand Kevin's point of view, what kind of family he's grown up in, what kind of flexibility he's got to make mistakes.
The first time I saw it, it was just in awe. I couldn't speak. I couldn't really say what I felt. It was just kind of a numbness. It was so good. It was just hard to grasp that we had done this in Red Oak.
Seemed like we're shooting all day that day, and then go shoot the party scene till 12 o'clock at night, and then probably go to bed probably 2 o'clock and wake up about 7 o'clock and start again.
When you're doing the scene, you don't really think about it, but when you're watching it on the film, it really hits you hard.
I mean, you had to have this person walking by at this time, and you had to make sure there were these people in the background, and especially when we had to go back and try to do a scene like a couple weeks later and trying to recreate the scene, and you had to show us pictures and, okay, were we like this or were we like this? And it was hard, but it was fun.
It felt weird shooting this and then shooting something that was supposed to go before that, and then seeing it all come together on the movie. It's pretty cool.
It was so fun working with everybody, like especially like Jared. He made the movie funny. He really made the movie funny. And like working with Lacey, my best friend, and that was just good. And I was friends with everybody.
Well, I wasn't in every scene, so I didn't get to see all the other parts other people were doing, and then even my scenes were just kind of chopped, and I didn't really know where they were going to go and what it was going to look like at the end.
Post-production on any film, as well as any other video that you do, takes a lot of planning on paper. So once we get everything planned out on paper and we know what stories are going to be where and how we're going to shoot this scene and that scene, then you have hours and hours and hours of tape to go through. And one of the biggest challenges of that is to separate the good from the bad, the good takes, the bad takes. And as you know, we probably do 17, 18 different takes on each scene. You know, people ask me all the time, how long does it take for you to do something like this? The best time frame that I've ever been able to put on is it takes about 8 hours to edit about 3 good minutes of video.
I was really amazed at just the quality of the film. Everything that was done was just amazing. I didn't expect it. Even though I had seen the first one, this one was, in my opinion, just and I'm talking about the way it was filmed, and the kids and the storyline. Everything was fantastic. It was really great.
I mean, yeah, the parts like where Camille and Matt, you know, how you made them look like a couple. I mean, yeah, that was really good. I thought, oh my goodness, she's really special. Well, she is special, but I just thought that was really good.
Yeah, everything was put together very, very well.
It was just incredible, the whole thing. It was really neat to see how it all came to, you know, how the pieces all, it was like a great big puzzle, how they all came together. It was overwhelming. And I guess my favorite scene was Camille and Holly looking at each other. That is so girl. I mean, girls are mean, and I can see girls doing something like that.
Camille told her off, telling her that she was my girlfriend and not my mom and stuff. That was really good. That was some good acting.
Camille's not going to be able to go to prom with her boyfriend if he hung around the kind of crowd that we were hearing that he was hanging around with. So, and we value her brothers. It's something they do all the time. You know, they'll mention things about different people, and so we listen to brothers. You know, brothers, they protect their sisters. So, well, I mean, anytime you hear something about somebody that your daughter likes and you're hearing things, negative things, it's like an antenna as a parent that goes up. Of course, you don't want your child to be around that. And then to think that if they do hang around a crowd that drinks and drives and stuff like that, that your daughter's going to be with them, she could be hurt. Because, you know, the decisions that kids make nowadays, or I mean, the decisions that kids make, they don't realize that sometimes it can affect their whole future. It can affect the lives of others involved.
After on the wreck scene, I was really nervous. I didn't know really how to act, but when he came up, it was just like it all came natural, just do whatever. And when he threw me on that hood, it really hurt. And he pinned my arms up against my shoulder blades, and that's what really hurt. And then once you get in the car, you're like, wow. You know, you just think about all the other people that have been through that. You're just like, dang.
Anybody who really knows me knows that daisies are my favorite flower. And ever since I've been driving, I've had daisies in my car, in the corner. And so I knew that they had to be in the wreck car. And the whistle, I'm a lieutenant, or was a lieutenant for drill team. And so I thought that would be important, and the tassel, because I'm graduating, and especially when it had all the blood on it.
Well, watching them put it on like Robert, Rachel, and, you know, Lacey, it was kind of good, you know. But me and Matt, it spars it really wasn't that bad. We just kind of had a couple bruises, a little laceration to the face, but it wasn't too bad.
Wow.
I couldn't watch it. I mean, it was worse when I saw him on film in the casket. I mean, I held my head down. I was crying. The first time I watched it, I couldn't even hear the music. For me, the third time I thought, oh, the third time I watched it, I was still crying, but I thought, oh, I didn't hear that song the first time. That's one of my favorite songs, but not anymore.
I'm not going to say that there was a favorite scene. I mean, things that hit home was when Kevin was in jail. But now there was a funny one, and I guess you had to really know what was going on. But when the guys were drunk and they were going off to their truck to take Matt back to school, what was the thing that the coach says?
In practice, when things don't go right, he gets upset and he gets red in the face. He's like, "Hey, go! Why can't you catch a ball?" Blah, 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 blah. He's always saying that. And that's when we know we're in trouble. Well, that's the first thing that came to my mind is, when Coach Houston and Coach Havel finds out we're in trouble.
Dadgum. I mean, that was funny.
The part, I guess, that emotionally affected me the most was Matt's father reading to him. And when the funeral was going on and he was actually reading his letter that he did in the live funeral, that part was very emotional. And even though we saw that happening when we filmed it, it hit me in a different way that I think that words can't describe. It was just something that I think every parent fears and every student should understand.
Just thinking about seeing him all bloody and thinking about if that was really happening, you just had to think about it. And then,
And I think you told us, you said we got one take. We can't do this twice. So, do your best. And at
I was
that point,
surprised he cried because he never cried.
It was just thinking about it. Once you got yourself into thinking about, okay, if this was really happening, what would I be feeling? And I mean, at that point, once that happens and there's nothing you can do, you're kind of just swept up in all the emotions and everything that's going on.
That was almost surreal. It was horrible to see, Leslie laying on top of Lacey just sobbing. You can imagine it's every parent's nightmare, and that was really hard. And right before we walked into that scene, we watched Matt's parents, and just seeing the heartache of Matt's mom, that was just, that mother's heart in you just went out towards her. It was horrible.
I mean, everything was so lifelike, it was easy to go, okay, this is real. And to get caught, like I said, get caught up in those emotions and get kind of swept away with the whole thing.
Yeah, well, we started getting upset back in the waiting room because just
right.
waiting and thinking.
And anticipating.
And I kept thinking, what if something happens in the helicopter and he really does die? And, oh my God, I'm terrible. My mind is...
I could just picture everything going through my head, what he looked like, what he was doing and stuff, and just hearing my dad cry was really bad.
And I told her, that was one of the things, I said, gosh, I'm kind of upset that now I'm on film crying, I'm on film,
I'm a big wimp.
It was pretty hard seeing somebody that I probably changed their life, laying in that coffin, thinking that I probably did that to them. It was a feeling I don't want to have,
I was almost outside of myself. I was like, okay, just be there, but don't really be there, because to think about having to live through, the death of a child, it's just really hard. I mean, I thought about parents who really had to go through stuff like that, and I just thought, well, gosh, I just hope they don't think that
we're making light of the situation.
Yeah, we're making light, because it was really hard.
It was incredible. It was definite reality check. I mean, you see, even the first one, I was part of the first one, but I mean, I knew the people, but I didn't really know them, and so it's still emotional. But then to see, I mean, even me, to see myself and all my family and all my friends trying to go through me dying, it's very emotional.
While I hope this film changes a lot of people's opinions about drinking and driving, I know it changed his and it changed mine.
Right, and that's what we said. We said, because the people said, well, if it just touches one person's life, and we talked, and we said, if it just changes, our children's lives, our son, our daughters, if it just changes their lives, it's done, it's the job.
It was great working with everybody. I love everybody, Rachel and Kevin. I'm glad. I know me and Kevin are gonna stay in touch, and hopefully everybody else will too. I know everybody that's a senior this year. I'm gonna stay in touch with all of them.
I couldn't have done this without my cast. We had a meeting before all this ever happened, and there were some things that I have done that I shouldn't have done, and if I got the second chance that they gave me, I wouldn't be sitting here right now. So I'm very glad that they gave me the second chance to do this, and I'd do it all over again.
I just believe that you should give people second chances. I mean, I know that I would want somebody to do that for me, and I'm really glad that we gave him a second chance because he really made that part.
I had a blast. It was fun.
This film truly does allow every kid that watches it a second chance. You can see the choices they made, and we're not saying this is the only situation or the only scenario. Of course, there are a million scenarios to how kids can end up in accidents that result in fatalities and that are caused by drinking and driving, but this is just one.
I have a responsibility now. Like, I really have to keep my standards. Like, if I ever decided to go down the wrong path, I couldn't do that because, I mean, that would just be a big hypocrite. And I just have to watch myself because now I know people are watching me every day and how I act, and people are going to be judging me. Hey, weren't you in Shattered Dreams? You can't be doing that. You can't be saying that. Why are you hanging out with them? And I'm just going to have to watch myself a lot.
When we got on the set and we shared the scripts with the actors, they were able to just take that situation and run with it. And each and every one of them, every time I go back and I look at the film or I hear a song on the radio, it just makes me so proud of each and every cast member that we had.
While it may be difficult to do, well, it will be. There's no question about it. You should do it.
I think it changes your life for the better, just participating.
Yes.
And hopefully people who watch it, their lives will be changed for the better also.
Just the overall experience was just something that in my 20 years of law enforcement is a highlight. I would say that there's been maybe 2 or 3 things in my entire career that will stick out in my mind forever, and this is one of them. And I think that's mainly because of the kids involved in the project. It's, I could go through and name each one of them one by one, and they mean a lot to me. There's a lot of special young people that have been involved in this project since the very beginning. Some of those that I've known since they were real little, and I just feel like it's a successful program. It's a successful project, and it's because of the students and Alan and all the parents and everyone who took part in it. This was a cooperative effort of over 250 people, and I feel like the Red Oak community should be proud of these students for what they've done.